Hey everybody, happy Friday. There's a BB-8 update for the first time in quite a few weeks. As you can see, I have the panels attached to the sphere for the first time. This has been my main chore for the past 3 or 4 weeks. I've been printing and reprinting a lot. My goal here is to get all 14 panels attached to the sphere and also be removable. That has been the challenge. I've done some customization of some of the parts. I've changed out my clubs triangles for the carry triangles, and then I also created some carry style circular panels with the holes in them. I also printed them in 2 pieces instead of the 2-piece panel and then 4-piece ring. This is just 2 pieces representing both the ring and the panel, which is pretty good. It actually worked out pretty well. I still obviously have to finish these and fill the gaps and everything, but I think for the most part this looks pretty good. Ditto for the fitting. The fitting, I have this all together. I did a lot of sanding to get the overhangs unoverhung, but now I have some gaps here that need to be filled. These aren't too bad. I actually prefer the bigger gaps because I can just print out a little shim and put that in right here. I'm more concerned about the littler nuisance gaps. I have a pretty decent one here. Like this one is a super pain. I'm going to use a 3D printing pen to try and fill this gap. See if I can just do a little material add all through here to fill that up and then sand it out. I also am dealing with some issues of not quite being totally flat on the sphere. Like I can kind of push down on that a little bit, so I'm going to be sanding and heat gunning this to make it a little bit more flush. As you can see, the curvature of that triangle isn't what it should be, so a little heat gun should take care of that. But for the most part it's looking pretty good. It's all assembled, it's together. I want to drive this thing more than you can possibly imagine as a full sphere, but I am not going to do that for 2 reasons. The lesser of those 2 reasons is ridges like this right here. When I printed these 2 halves, I left a little skirt on it and I didn't shave them off very well, so there's these little protruding plastic parts all around and I don't want to mess up my floors. But the real reason I don't want to drive it around is, if you can listen, oh, now it's not making any sound, but there it is. There is a rogue screw in here. I dropped a screw into the ball after I had about 12 of the 14 panels on, and I ain't getting that sucker out until I take them all back off, so I'm not going to drive it around with a screw in there because I can't imagine that would lead to anything good. Real quick, I just want to show you the head update as well. This is my test head at 96%, which you've all probably seen if you've been following these videos. I have now been trying to print out a version that has the head and my magnet assembly all in one piece, or as few pieces as possible. I have the full scale dome printed with my spindles on the inside. This sucker is light. I have it all pretty much hollow. I think it's at about 5% infill where there is even an infill, and 2 perimeters around, so it's pretty light. I'm pretty happy with that so far. I've attempted to print the skirt and ring assembly with my wheel holder, and as you can see, I think I went a little too low with my settings. And once it got up to the flat parts, it didn't really, let's see if I can focus that, there we go. It didn't want to work, so I'm going to have to go back and rethink that a little bit. And it was so thin that when I took it off the bed, it just cracked and ripped. But I'm really happy with the actual dome, so I can get this glued up and ready to go replace this guy. I think I'm going to keep him around for all my testing once I have the ball ready to test, because once this thing's painted, I don't want it hitting the floor too many times. So this is going to be my little workhorse. But yeah, that's where we're at for now. Hopefully the next time I make a video, all these panels will be really well fit together, no gaps, and ready for painting and priming and starting to look like BB-8. Alright, that's all for now.